aika huivit ylös nostaa. HJK! Ei me luovuteta koskaan. Ei koskaan. HJK! Jos et tajunnut tosta, niin se Seinäjoen jalkapallokerho. HJK! Ja muita joo, eikä tuu, se on meidän kerho. Pallo keskelle.
Moi, I'm Mark.
And I'm Jules, and this is the Seinäjoki Football Supporters Podcast, bringing you news, reviews and interviews from SJK Seinäjoki.
We're doing it in English for an international fan base. So, Jules, you mentioned interviews. Who's joining us for this episode?
Well, that is a good... We've been waiting here for half an hour, Mark, haven't we? The person we invited and agreed this with forgot and was in the sauna.
But they promised to come on again very soon. So if we are doing an episode next week with a guest,
you can work out who it is.
You maybe, Inspector Poirot's out there can figure it out for yourselves.
Yeah, and it's game day tomorrow, so that we'll let them off as long as they score a goal or two.
Oh, so it's a player, Jules. There's a big clue there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's okay. We'll forgive them on this occasion, and we'll cobble something together. Luckily, Jules and I did some research. Not that you'd believe it if you listen to this show, but we actually do research. So we'll talk through what's been going on with SJK in the last few weeks since the season started, and we'll come back to our guest next week.
The good news is for you guys who are time pressured just before this comes, the next game is that it might not be too long because half of our content has gone. Half of our content is in the sauna.
It's probably going to be a much shorter episode than we thought, which is also makes it quicker for us to edit.
Lisa Lolo.
Yes, exactly. So, Jules, the first thing as usual are shout outs, and we've got a couple of things to mention.
Yeah, not really short. It's a shout out, news, congratulations. But Simo Valakari, who took us to the championship in 2015, if I remember correctly. Yes, it was. His St Johnstone's team has been promoted back to the Scottish Premiership as champions. So congratulations to him.
And we joined was it 18 months or so ago and went down with St Johnstone, and now they've come back up again. He hasn't been there that long, so...
Yeah, I think it's less than 18 months because when he joined, they were already bottom and relegated.
Right.
If I remember, not relegated, but
essentially.
Exactly. He would have been the Messiah if he'd kept them up.
And instead, he was just a very naughty boy. Sure, if that's the second time we've done that joke on this podcast in 2026.
I think that was on another theme we did that. I think that was another. I think that was in.
It was in one of the WhatsApp football groups.
It was a DFF.
Monty Python, didn't it?
The Finnish football show. It was that one. Yeah.
Well, I think it's fair to say, Jules, that he has risen again into the Scottish Premier League.
Yes, indeed.
Now, also worth a shout out. We had a little bit of controversy in the last episode, Jules, because the HJK home kit has got burgundy stripes, and we weren't having this, were we? But since then, the club has announced a new third kit that looks a lot like this. Listener, if you can see my screen, and I'm not doxing myself with anything. No, I don't think so. A third kit that is orange and blue.
Harking back to before there was SJK Seinäjoki, there was TP Seinäjoki and Sepsi, and TP Seinäjoki played in orange and Sepsi played in blue, and the two clubs merged. So I suppose you like as well, Mark?
I do like it. I think it's different. I like the stripes. I think I said last time that I wasn't so unhappy with the away kit of white with burgundy stripes. But this one's really, really caught my attention, and it looks quite red in the game where they've actually used it, which is something compared to last year's great third kit that never was worn. Sorry?
Wasn't the gold one? The gold one was the away strip.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's even worse. It was the away kit that was never worn last year.
Because I don't like our second strip. Hopefully, we don't wear that ever, and we just wear this one, unless it's an unlucky strip because we got beat in it. So
that's true. That's true. We did, but I don't know. I think for me, it kind of it's reminiscent of Holland, and Holland or Netherlands always
They
play.
never have stripes.
No, but they orange and blue sometimes is their colours. Maybe not the
That's
stripes,
true.
but
That is true.
the two colours. So if we can
But
play
they're quite handy at football, aren't they? The Dutch.
exactly, so if we can play
Yep.
even remotely like a good Netherlands team, then we'll be laughing
And if
this
we play
year.
remotely like a bad Netherlands team, we'll still be better than what we
It
use.
should do. Yeah, we should finish in the top half of the Veikkausliiga. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yep.
So, listener, let us know what you think. Make a comment under this wherever you're listening to it, or send us a message somewhere or other. You know how to reach us.
And we've got
Um,
some news of some new signings.
uh, Go on then, shoot.
Uh, Van Basten, Ruud Gullit.
You're such an idiot. I thought there
They're a
was
bit
somebody
old.
that I'd missed that you were going to drop in. It wasn't in the prep, but I thought, oh, George has just plucked something off the top of his head. I should have known better.
Yeah,
Should have known
sorry, come
better.
on, logical. Got to
Um,
fill in for the guy who's in the sauna.
yeah, that's true. Well, I think you don't have to keep me on my toes quite so much.
Have we
Um,
not done a podcast this season? Was that
no,
was
we
that
did
on
the
the
preview. We did the preview one,
right?
and then we've had a few games since then, and
So
three.
how's the season going so far, Mark? Do you want to lead us off?
Do you remember the old Carter the Unstoppable Sex Machines
Oh
song
yeah,
where it says, "What do you think of the program so far?" Rubbish. That's how the season's been going so far.
right.
I think it's a bit harsh. I would say it's been uneven so
Well,
far.
doing a Carter link, talking about the undisputed king of the slums. SJK went to Helsinki,
And came back empty-handed.
came back
Very
handed. Yeah, yeah.
empty-handed.
We were robbed by Sheriff Fatman.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
so
so what do you think of the game, Jules?
I didn't see it. I was actually in Holland,
Oh,
try,
okay.
trying to get some new
Scouting
signings.
football shirts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I
Um,
was in Holland, so I missed the game. But you saw it.
yeah, I did. I mean, blimey, this is a few weeks ago now, so my old memory is not what it could be. But I did watch back the highlights last night. I think the first thing to say is that there was a surprising starting lineup, at least from the players that were missing. It was a surprise they weren't starting, but a lot of them were those that had travelled with their international teams. So Oscar Rivaisto, Kelvin Perez, Prosper Pedera, Kasper Paunonen, none of those started the game. And you
And at
might
least two of
think,
them came from the other side of the planet.
yeah, exactly, yeah, together
Perez
as
and
well.
Yeah. So yeah,
Travel
right. Yeah.
back together, having played against each other
Yeah.
on the Monday, Casper and Kelvin. So I think Prosper Pedera seems to have not started many games yet this season, but the other three you'd probably think would be in there from the start. So that was a
Yeah.
little
The
bit of a
first
worry.
they've been in the other. Well, yeah, three of the first 11. In the 11, and you would say two out of the back four.
Yes, yeah, exactly,
So yeah.
exactly. And we were under a lot of pressure. And if you watch the highlights, there was nothing going towards the HJK goal for much of the first half, according to the highlights, and that's certainly how I remember the game. I think it's worth a mention to Seibu Yakubu. A great goal line clearance. One of these moves where HJK sort of passed through the defence and the shot came in from around the penalty spot, and he was on the goal line behind Roope Paunio to block on the line, and it caused one of those chest bumping goalkeeper and defender celebrations, which are very fashionable at the moment. But I think well deserved as well. And I think
Mhm.
I don't mind that.
Right.
I think if a goal scorer scores, they celebrate. So if a defender defends, why not? Why not?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
Um,
Why should all the attackers just get the glory and the celebrating?
yeah, but I mean, we eventually cracked in the first half and went in 1-0 down, and the second half started and Teemu Pukki got a goal on 49 minutes, and that kind of, I suppose, kind of killed it because it was so quick after the half time. We were in the game more in the second half, but really we only recreated sort of half chances that were blocked or saved before Toivo Mero scored the winner to give them a 3-0 win. And if you look at the stats, you know, they had more possession. Okay, possession is not necessarily always a great indicator of anything, but they had 18 shots compared to 7 for us. They had 6 on target. We had 3. They had 36 touches in our box. We had 14 in theirs. So like every kind of important stat they kind of led on really.
We beat them on fouls committed.
Well, yeah, and that's not necessarily always going in. That tells a story in itself, doesn't it? Really, I suppose.
Indeed. Yeah,
Um,
that's the only statistic that we're bigger than them on is and offsides, which is a surprising thing. We had 1 and they had 0, but yeah, fouls committed. At least hopefully we left something on them. So
yeah, and I suppose okay, HJK away. We've had some decent performances there. We've had 1 or 2 very good ones, but it's not often a happy hunting ground
no,
for us.
there were
Um,
many years that we had never won there. So
But bearing in
yeah,
mind they hadn't really won very much there since August last year, it's always disappointing
yeah,
to get nothing. But they're a different team now as well. So
yeah. HJK are a bit like Arsenal. HJK in the playoffs are a bit like Arsenal in April.
go on.
Oh, do you not know the statistic of
Oh, I thought there was going to be a clever
Arteta?
like
Have you not
punchline
know
to it.
like, Arteta is Arteta? Sorry, well, we're going off topic here. Is often banded the Arteta to Pep Guardiola. That
Yes.
Guardiola's is like prolific in April, and Arteta is not. It's the worst month of the year, and HJK are really bad in the end of season playoff games.
And are you just doing this to ramp up the tension for a friend of the show, Jyrki, who will be desperately hoping his Arsenal boys can finally win something big?
Yeah, well, it's May almost soon, isn't it? So,
Almost.
yeah, but yeah.
There's a few games.
Anyway,
There's
let's
probably a
move.
couple of games
Let's get
before
back to
the
Finnish
end of
football.
April.
Let's get back to Finnish football.
Yeah, well, yeah. Let's get back to Finnish football. Because we a week later we had our first home game, Friday the 10th of April. Um, is that a typo that you put there in the in
That's how I like to refer to them.
MILF Mariehamn? I think
Well, it's
that's
almost,
very
isn't it?
rude,
It's
very
almost the
very
same
rude,
as,
very rude.
yeah.
Anyway, it was Asukor 3, Mariehamn nil,
Another
and
3-0 home win.
yeah. And do you remember this game, George? You were there.
I do. I was underneath the tifo, which afterwards looked absolutely brilliant. Well
Yeah, it
done to
always looks
everyone.
rubbish from underneath it.
That's a good advantage of being at the front. You can try and peek out the bottom, but yeah. But it looked good, and congratulations to everybody who was involved in that. That was a lot of work. Or as somebody said afterwards, was it 4 days work for 5 minutes?
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
but
but it did
but
look good. It did
but
look
but
good.
actually, I listened to a podcast where somebody was talking about the ultras scene in Scotland, and was talking about how these groups of younger guys kind of get together in between matches, and it's a social event as much as anything. And I really saw that when the Klopp was organising this.
Yeah.
Those that are interested in making the tifos and being involved in that, they're getting together, they're having a few drinks, they're creating something that brings a lot of pride to the club, and I think it's incredible. It's not for me, Clive,
Mm.
but I think it's incredible. Well,
There's a lot of ways to support the club, and the most
yeah,
important thing is if you're enjoying it and supporting the club.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, and support the club we did because we supported them to a 3-0 win against
Indeed. Yep.
Mariehamn.
Yep.
The first goal from Kelvin Pires on 29 minutes.
Yep. Yeah, and it was in a corner, and Casper Parnanen was taking the corners. What did he say afterwards? Because they got no one with a left foot. Was that right?
Right, okay.
Was that the reason why? Was Marcos Arcelor wasn't on the pitch? Would that be right? Or was he? I can't remember. Have you got the
I don't
statistics
I
there?
don't have the team
No.
up there actually
Yeah.
for that
But
one.
anyway, he took the corner and it was perfectly into the box. And yeah, as you marked, it's similar to his goal for Cape Verde against Finland.
Yeah,
So
it
yeah,
was. I
he's
think
on
I think it
fire.
might even have come from the same side, and he just rose above everyone else and headed it in. And then they almost repeated it on 44 minutes, and he just sort of headed just wide. But we were quite dominant, I think, against
Yeah.
Mariehamn,
Yep.
and it carried on in the second half. Casper got the second goal on 52 minutes.
Yeah. You got Salim Youssef dribbled nicely into the box, kind of driving run, drew lots of players. Fed Casper, who kind of held off a player, moved it a bit to his left, created space for a shot and from about 40 meters out, and yeah, buried it, scored.
Yeah, sort of buried it high towards the corner, didn't he? But from
Yeah.
fairly close in, it was no stopping that.
Yeah.
And Yere String scored late on another header from a corner, this time from Elias Mastokangas, and Yere sort of got up and flicked it across the goal and into the left-hand side of the goal. And it was a good result, but I agree with you. I wasn't sure what quality Mariehamn were
Yeah. They
when
did look weak. They looked really weak.
they did, and yet they've since gone on and well around that they drew 1-1 with TPS Turku.
Yeah.
So at the start of the season, drawing at home to TPS, is that good or bad result? No idea because they've just come up.
Yeah.
But then they drew 2-2 with Ilves,
Was the
and
TPS game in Marienheim or was it
it
in
was,
Turku?
yeah, it was.
Okay, right.
Um,
Yeah.
and
Ilves are doing terrible.
Well, that's true. They are. They've lost two and drawn one. And okay, they've lost to Ilves. They lost to Cups and they lost to Inter, which is no disgrace. So it's a tough start to the season. But still, 1 point out of three is it's even worse than us.
And we played them in a couple of weeks. All I can hope is that we're not Dr. Spurs.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to. I'm
yeah.
just trying to. I'm just trying to annoy anybody from North London today.
Helping
I'm really.
every other team feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
So I think like a win and a defeat at the first couple of games. Okay, we're finding
Yeah.
our feet, and then there was the Suomen Cup game
Oh,
away
we
to.
missed that. I like the celebration that the
Oh,
Jaro
sorry, go on.
came over towards us and gave it a bit of a yeah fist raise. That was nice to see.
Yeah, there was a suggestion in one of the WhatsApp groups that he came over to the fans before the team to
Yeah.
acknowledge us because he then had to go off and do media duties. And but
Okay.
in previous, maybe because it was a television game, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whereas in previous years or last season, the team would come to us and the coaching staff would sort of stand behind and they'd all go off
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
I didn't really read too much into that. I
Yeah.
don't
We'll
think
see
there
what
was
happens. Yeah. Yeah.
any issue with that at all. I think that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, there was the cup game was next on Tuesday, the 14th of April. Close run
yeah,
affair.
in Hamina. Now Hamina
Yeah.
are like a Kolmonen team, so a
Yep.
Finnish fifth division team playing against HJK. We took a strong team
And we
down
took
there.
five, was it four supporters as well? So I mean that's a day trip for them as well, which is respect to the people who made the trip down there.
Yeah, I don't want to name them because I don't want to miss any of them out particularly, but we know who you are, and it was great to see just
Yep.
a car full of people down to Hamina. It's a long way down south from here, and
On
they
Tuesday. Yep.
they were treated on a Tuesday, and they were treated to a 6-1 win.
Yep.
I
Goals
suppose
from
regulation
Badera.
win against a much lower down team,
Yeah,
but
but
still you've got to
it can
do the
always be a
job.
bit tricky, can't it? It can always be
Yeah,
a bit tricky.
yeah. So it was goals for
Padera, two for Strang, two for Barnanen, one for Rangel.
yeah.
At one point, it was 7-1 for some reason, and it had two for Rangel, but then it seemed to correct itself.
Well, maybe disallowed, I guess.
Maybe, yeah,
And that night, the HJK Academy also won 3-0 away in the cup against VPV Vaasa. So that's again a lower down team from the Vaasa area.
yeah. And
And
we now know the next rounds, which
we
will be
do the
next
draw.
Tuesday.
Yeah, the draw was just a couple of days ago. So HJK's first team has been drawn away to VPS Vaasa Academy team.
Yep,
So that again, that's sort of three divisions difference between them. Okay, against the old enemy Vaasa, but still their academy team. And our academy is travelling up to Oulu to play against Ols.
which is AC's academy, basically.
Yes, it is. It's a separate club, but they're sort of
Yeah,
working in collaboration, aren't they? So
yeah,
they're Ukkonen division,
yes,
or
yeah.
yeah,
Whichever is the division below academy.
Veikkausliiga,
Yeah,
and
so
then Ukkonen. Yeah.
Veikkausliiga, why are you so? Why can't you? You know,
Miksi niin vaikea?
aren't there more letters in the Finnish alphabet? You know, you can rather than Ykkönen and Ykkösliiga. You know, there are other words that you can use.
In a chat the other day, I did suggest that one of them should be called. We have Ukkosliiga ja toinen liiga.
Toinen Ykkösliiga. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
But I'm interested in going to the VPS game. It's on. I've just finished my Tuesday evening course. So I'm now free on Tuesdays. If it's 6 o'clock kickoff, it's 5 o'clock. So that means we have to leave here about 4:30. I'm thinking that might be
yeah, and I'm just thinking I've got some work arranged between 4 and 5 on
right.
Tuesday, which I can't change. I've had to change it once already, so I'll have to miss that. But I suspect there will be a bunch of
Yeah,
Cloppit heading over there because it's Vaasa away.
I'm going to approach our mate Billy because he can't make the game again this week because it's on
Yeah,
evenings,
that's
which must
tough.
mean next week he has got no excuse.
Yes, yeah, that's
Yep.
true.
So
Um,
we'll see. We'll see.
so after 3 games, albeit one in the cup, we've got 2 wins and a defeat on our hands, and then we're travelling down to Turku last Saturday, the 18th, to play against TPS. And
Great turnout then for the fans as well. Is it like 70 odd fans? So that's
yes, a bus
I know if
full
you're
plus
listening
some
abroad,
travelling
it doesn't
themselves.
sound like anything, but that's quite a significant amount for the Finnish league when you're thinking that it's 5.5 hours each way.
Yes, yeah, it's a trek, isn't it? And also they had to at some stage someone said we're going to need a bigger bus, and so they upgraded the bus,
Yeah,
and there was a 60-seater bus heading down there, which yeah, incredible, with another great tifo display. Lots of noise, you could really hear it. I know that on the TV it depends where the microphones are, but
yeah.
you could really hear them on the TV, and that's always good. I was just about to say about TPS, for those that don't know, it's like they've just come up last year from Veikkausliiga, but they're a traditional, a proper traditional old Finnish club. So
Yeah,
it's
if
good
I'm
to
going
see
to
them
run the
back in the
risk
cup.
here, I mean, they were the club from Turku and
Yes,
Inter
yes,
are the new pretenders, if you like.
Arrivistes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true. Um, but still, you'd think against a promoted team, you want to go down there and win.
yeah,
But
or at least draw.
yeah, but in order to win, you got to play. And I have to say, I mean, okay, so you didn't see this game,
Well,
and
I missed the first half.
oh yeah, okay, okay, yeah, you missed the first half. I was double screening this, and it was I had Sato and Topias with me, complaining every time something didn't go right, and I was watching another game on my phone. I was watching the Wimbledon game and sort of glancing across, but we just didn't get started. In the first half, we just did not play football. And you can see from the stats here, um, in the first half, TPS had 56% of the possession. Okay, a little bit more than us. But they had 11 shots, 4 on target. We had no shots, although 100% on target. Yeah. They had 19 touches in our box. We had six. Like those, I think the percentage or the possession is whatever, but those kind of touches in the box, and it shows the direction that the play has been going in.
Yeah.
Um,
We won
second
on fouls
half,
again, though.
yeah, we okay, so good. We're winning the fouls in both
Yeah.
halves as well in this
Yeah.
game.
Yep. Yep. There you
Um,
go.
Second half, completely different. We had 68% of the possession. We had 8 shots, they had three. We had 4 on target, they had two. 8 touches in their box compared to four. So it was completely different, but we just couldn't get those goals.
Yeah. So I only saw the second half, and we started off nicely. They scored very soon into the second half. But then we
So
just dominant.
that's the second game in a league game in a row where that's happened because
Yeah,
same
we
thing
used to have
against
that, didn't we?
HJK as well.
Yeah, we used to have that. It used to be a pattern.
Yeah.
But hopefully we're not going back to that. But yeah, we dominated. We looked really good, but we didn't work their keeper. A lot of high-ish balls into the box that their keeper was just coming out and grabbing, and yeah,
Yeah, as I say, Jules, this was a game of two halves, and you saw the better half.
yeah. There was a thing afterwards. It's some of the on the fans group that complaints about the players not coming over, and I get that. It's not nice after you've travelled all that way, and the fans, they deserve some kind of recognition. But I'm just guessing here that a lot of the players I think were embarrassed to come over really after that performance.
Yeah, I suspect that's true. Maybe next week we can ask our guest for their perspective on this kind of
Yep.
situation as well. And by then we'll have had a couple more games to reflect on, hopefully a couple of positive games.
Yeah. And like just with Samuel, who's just done Chuckwitty, who's just done the
Mm.
preview for the next game,
Yes.
did say that I can't remember his exact words, but we played badly in Turku. So I
Yeah.
think and in Jarkko Vis's comments for the next game, again, he acknowledges that individually and collectively we need to improve. So I think it's the team knows that it was a bad performance, and it's hard to go and face people when you know that you've let them down. So let yourself down and let them down. So yeah, but hopefully in future we win games and people can celebrate.
And that in future starts tomorrow, Jules. We're recording this on
Yeah.
Thursday
Will
the
you get this out in
23rd in the
time?
evening. Sorry?
Will you get this out in time?
Oh yes, absolutely. This will be
Ah,
out
okay.
before the game
Less to edit
tomorrow.
now, isn't
Less to edit and
it?
less for people to listen to. So hopefully
Yep.
they've got a chance of hearing it before the game starts.
Yep.
It's Friday night. It's home to Jaro, who are having a tough start to the season as well. You and I were talking about this earlier, and they've obviously played three as well. They've scored one goal. They've only conceded two, so not exactly goal fests
Yeah.
so far. They lost at home to Lahti 1-0, 0-0 away to Veikkausliiga, and then I would say a decent 1-1 draw at home to Cups.
Oh, there's a shout out. I saw Yoni when I was just coming back from running, the Cubs fan who lives in Seinäjoki, and
We don't
he
give
was
shout outs to Cups fans, even if they
yeah, he
might
was
listen
he
to
was off
this.
he went there to the to Jaro.
Right, okay.
He's
Yeah.
a half a Seinäjoki fan. Give him another 5 years.
I'd say half a Seinäjoki fan.
Yeah, yeah. We're his second team. So
He's nuts because for the first game of the season, he lives in Seinäjoki, he supports Cups, and he was going to Ilves, but he drove to Kuopio to catch the fan bus to get them back down to Tampere.
that is
Barking
nuts.
mad.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
Yeah.
more than enough talk about Cups fans. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
but
Anyway.
Yoni, if you're listening, see you at the game tomorrow. You know you love the black and gold.
Yeah.
Um, Friday games, it's great, isn't it? This we said
Love
this
him.
before,
Love him.
but
Yeah.
Friday evening games or Saturday evening games, it's great. The chance to they're a little bit later in the evening, like 7 o'clock start. Get there after work, make the most of happy hour,
Mm.
and
Fancy a
then
pizza
get
tomorrow?
sorry.
Do you fancy a pizza tomorrow?
Uh, let's make our plans off air, Jules. I
Oh,
wouldn't want
I
all.
pushed it, but for anyone who's listening, I pushed this pizza idea last time and no one took me up on it. So
I got a feeling that you pulled out on it last time as well.
yeah, maybe that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll take this off air. I will not discuss my social life in in
I will
such a
discuss
public
my
place.
my daughter's social life though. That originally my wife had something doing because Amelia wanted to go to their game, and then but she couldn't go, and then um that plans got cancelled, so they're both going to the game tomorrow, and
Nice.
Amelia doesn't want to be in the main stand anymore. She wants to be behind the goal where the action is. It's a better atmosphere there.
So is she going to go and stand at the back behind the cloppet and make some noise?
No, I think that's too much
Okay,
action for
fine.
yeah.
Build
But
build
in
up to
our
that.
end where she can hear.
Very
And
good.
she also won the award for having the loudest shout in her class. So
Okay.
I'm hoping when my days of boys, 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 da 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 go, then I'm hoping she's my replacement.
Nice. It'll be good to see her take your place on the front row of the
Yeah.
cloppet in about 5 years' time.
I can have dreams.
And then after tomorrow's game, obviously Tuesday there's the two Suomen Cup games,
Yep.
and then the first team has another home game, Ilves on Saturday, 2nd of May. I reckon we might be back before that Ilves game if our special guest and us can find a mutually convenient date to have a chat.
Yep. Or there's somebody else I would like to line up, but um, let's see if I can pull my finger out and contact them.
Do it. Get them on.
Yep.
The more
Yep.
the more guests, the better. The more
I
the
should
more
have
we
more
have
time
guests, the
in
less
my
people
life
have
now.
to listen to us.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
Everyone's begging you to get another guest on, Jules.
And a different host as well, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe they should just listen to a different podcast if that's their attitude. All right.
Go on
I
then.
think I think that probably wasn't quite as short or sweet as we were expecting, but hopefully that gives everyone a bit of an update. And I think that just about wraps it up for this episode. So remember, listener, to subscribe to the show wherever you're listening, and that you can find the whole archive of our shows on YouTube.
You can contact the Seinäjoki Supporters Podcast by email at seinäjokifootballpod@gmail.com. And you can find links to all our content on Linktree at Seinäjoki Football Pod.
Yeah, and we've mentioned WhatsApp groups a little bit during the show. We have this group where we continue the conversation between podcasts, open to any fan of HJK. So if you want to join, go to that Linktree address, find the link to request joining the group, and I'll approve you joining. I've had another little spate of people with American phone numbers asking to join, and I always send a little message saying, "Hi, thanks for your interest. Why do you want to join?" And I get nothing, so they don't join.
All right. Until the next episode. See you tomorrow at the stadium, or see you online. Goodbye.
Hey, Pop.